Someone put on one of my videos that went, you can tell that Conor gets sick of Jim sometimes.
That's why I call you deluded Jim earlier. Somebody put on mine, I think I said, but he thinks he's going to win every single game. And then I saw that clip come out of a day where it's like, Gus Amer's the best player in the league, and people underneath like, well, he's deluded him.
No, he didn't only say that. He said Michael Cooper. He said Gus Amer.
Vinny Souza.
And then he said Vinny Souza.
Yeah, Vinny Souza.
They're all in conversation.
It made me laugh at your face when he said Vinny Souza. I've only shared the one because I don't bother with them two.
Oh, you mate now. Oh, friend.
I got
Leeds friend.
yeah.
What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I'm, of course, Jimmy, and we are here in the Brotherhood Arms. I don't even think I introduced you last time, lads, did I?
Brotherhood Pub.
Stop saying Brotherhood Arms.
Did I say Brotherhood Arms again?
Yes.
I'm going to redo it.
Just Brotherhood, Jim. It's simpler.
Yeah.
You're making it more complicated.
Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
As always, the Ramble is sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. If you're a growing business and you want support to continue that growth, they are the people to speak to. Thank you for joining the team for their continued support for the Ramble. Today's Ramble is also sponsored by High Point Access. Thank you to them for their support. They are your number one stop shop for all your working at heights and roofing needs. If you mention the Blades Ramble when booking any works with them, you'll also get 10% off. What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. We are here in the Brotherhood with my mate Joe from Turfcast and some guy named Conor from Leeds Fan Channel.
Trying to get my mate as well.
Well, mate, really. Right, so lads, this is the Prem, the Champ, and the middle. We all know that there's a huge gap between the Premier League and the Championship, and a lot of things, whether it be teams, players, fall into that middle ground. And how do you bridge the gap between the Championship and the Premier League? We're all fighting, all three of our clubs, to get out of the Championship and get in the Premier League. But is it all it's cracked up to be? We all know that the journey is much more fun than the destination.
Correct.
What do we actually want to go up? That's probably my first question. I think we all realise we have to go up in terms of the club growing and continuing to have quality players at our disposal. But as a fan, do you want to see Burnley in the Premier League, Joe?
I don't. For many reasons.
Ultimately, yes. I agree the Championship is better than the Premier League. I enjoy, as a match-going fan. As a match-going fan, obviously, season ticket holder, I get to about 15 away games a season as well. It's much better. It's much better as a fan. You're going into games thinking you can win them, not going into... Like, when you go to Anfield, you're just turning up and getting beat. Yeah. When you go to the Etihad, you're just turning up and getting beat.
We've hit him 2-1 in there.
So it's hard work. It's just hard work, yeah. And as a fan, I'd rather be going to Bramall Lane or Ellen Road, for example. Even if we get beat, obviously we won at both of them grounds this season. But even if we get beat,
where are they, League?
When's this going out?
Get out now. This is first one out.
But even if we get beat, you've been in a game, you had a chance to win. Whereas in the Prem, you just like, for example, we won the league at a canter last time, and then the first. All right, it's a bad example because we played City on the opening day of the season, but still, after like 15 minutes, we were 3-0 down or whatever it were.
I think
it sets the tone for the season.
I think there's context to be applied though. We mentioned this on another video, or I did. Sheffield United last time you went up, sold two of your best players, Sanderberg and Iliman Ndiaye. Just does not set you up at all for a good Premier League campaign whatsoever. I think when you look at Southampton, I think when you look at Burnley, no adaptation to the Premier League whatsoever. In my opinion, there should be a more direct approach. There has to be a more direct approach. You've got to relinquish control. Vincent Kompany and Russell Martin didn't do that. So I do think this whole closed shop thing, I think it's now been more amplified because you're getting three teams that are coming down again. But I don't think that teams going up to the Championship now are fraught, they're done, they can't be a success. I think that's absolute rubbish. I think if in the next 5 years we're seeing the same thing every single year, fair enough. I do think the last 2 years there's a lot of context to be applied. Bearing in mind, Luton were in there as well, who did no business whatsoever. I think there's a lot of context to be applied with the last 2 seasons of the teams going up and then coming straight back down.
I think you made a good point as well, Jimmy, where you said we need to go up as clubs as well. Like, if we all stay in the Championship, there's going to be another Stoke. And I know, no disrespect to Stoke, but, you know, they're now looking over the shoulder. The Premier League days are long behind them. Yeah. Once the parachute payment money runs out, then you're going to struggle as a club. A lot of clubs struggle to adapt. Why is a different debate from getting hundreds of millions of pounds every season in the Prem to then having pretty much whatever it is in the Championship, 30, 40 million.
What are we, is the sort of question here, are we talking about, is there almost any point, or do we prefer the Championship?
No, because that's an obvious one. The entertainment of the Championship and winning most weeks, we obviously all prefer as match going or following our team fans. But we recognise we have to go up to the Premier League because of the business aspect of it. We wouldn't be a strong team in this league if all of our clubs hadn't been in the Premier League in recent times. So that is why we're top end of the Championship. We have to go up there, but no, I'm not looking forward to it. If we were to get promoted, and I want us to get promoted, by the way, and I think we're all in the same boat, but it's not going to be an amazing, or I'm not expecting it to be an amazing season where we go up and we finish 9th again. You won't finish 9th in the league, I'm pretty sure of it. You know, you might think you've got a chance, but it's not going to be a Burnley finishing 7th and getting into Europe. The gap is too big, and I think that's highlighted by things like this Southampton team, who are currently a lot worse than Sheffield United were last season, and we were getting panned for it, by the way. But a lot of their players get in all of our sides. And I don't know whether you disagree with that, but I think a lot of their first team start for us.
I think the main thing about the Prem these days...
Which tells you about the gap.
I think the main thing about the Prem these days is your middle teams, like your West Hams, your Palaces, your Evertons, they've all got a lot stronger. And I think that's why this gap has now started getting bigger, because United's and your City... Well, United's not an example anymore. Your Cities, your Liverpools, your Arsenals...
Is that United who?
Sorry, Man United. The real United.
Not Sheffield United.
I prefer that, trust me.
The first United.
Yeah.
But they've all got stronger, that's the problem. And I know I used the example recently in some content we did before, but look at Ipswich. They've been poor this season. They've just gone to Coventry and absolutely tanked them in the Cup.
Yeah. But the Premier League is mostly comprised of teams that have been in the Championship in the last 10 to 15 years. So there is hope. There is hope about us going up.
I think it has changed a bit recently, though.
Based on
you haven't been in it as recently as us, so let us just tell you about it.
But 3 years ago, we came down with Leicester and Southampton. Yeah. We were a sort of established Premier League team. We're in the 3rd year, which is normally seen as the hump. Leicester and Southampton have been there for 10 years, and they've won the Premier League, FA Cup. One have been in Europe. But I do think
it's an anomaly, though, isn't it? That
it is an anomaly, yeah. But I do think there's been examples. I think the last 2 seasons, I think, have shrouded our minds a little bit.
Maybe so, but if all 3 of us are to be promoted this season, we are automatically odds on to go back down again. Leeds are probably, maybe the favourites to stay up, but you're still going to be the 3rd favourite team to go down.
And even if Leeds did stay up, they'd have to spend a lot. And I know you've obviously got backers with 49ers and Red Bull and stuff like that, so there'd have to be a lot of investment. I know people always come back to the fact that Forest were recently in the Championship and now they're doing very, very well, obviously, but they've had a lot of money pumped into
250 million quid.
Exactly. And who else was there recently as well? There's Fulham and Bournemouth. They've both gone up and they've got big benefits.
It feels like it's got to almost be like a 3-year thing as well. You literally have to invest every single year. We made the mistake in the 2nd year with Bielsa bringing in Dan James and Junior Firpo. That was it. And it was it. That was the lightning rod for us, because we didn't. You've got to spend. I mean, the question is, how much do you spend every?
That's it.
How much can you spend without getting yourself in trouble?
Summer, I think it is, isn't it?
You're going to get yourself in trouble eventually. Not through PSR, but that actual financial trouble.
That's right. Forest will be vulnerable next year.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about it. If they get into the Champions League, which they probably will right now, if they get into the Champions League, they've then got to build a squad that's going to sustain them in the Premier League. West Ham.
But they've got assets, haven't they, now? They've got assets. Morgan Gibbs-White goes for, what, 60 million quid?
But when West Ham were in Europe, they finished 16th that year after finishing 7th, because they struggled to keep up with it. I think that's what it is. Newcastle as well.
I know we didn't get into the actual European games of it, but just the Thursday, Sunday, we played Thursday, Sunday for like 6 weeks on the bounce, and that set the tone for the season that season, and we were awful that season because of that, and we only did it in August and September. So Forest could have gone too early.
That's
what I mean. I completely agree. But I guess we'll find out next season with Forest. But Jim makes a good point on assets, to be fair.
Yeah, well, but they've spent the money to get them, haven't they? So let us know what you think in the comments. I think it's an interesting conversation. We know we're not saying none of us want to go up, but there's so many different connotations to going up in there. And are you looking forward to it if our club is successful enough and gets there? What do you think we need to spend? Like Conor says, one of them, ain't it? But for now, come on, you red and white wizards, up the Blades!